Good morning everyone, and welcome to today's class. We're going to start this morning coming to sit in a comfortable position with the shoulders gently softening away from the ears. Lifting the spine up nice and tall, and then closing your eyes. Take a few deep breaths in and a few deep breaths out. Slowly coming into your body, coming into your breath. And I'd like you to bring your mind's eye now to the space between the eyebrows. Maybe visualizing a deep purple color radiating from this space. And then bringing your mind's eye to the space above the crown of the head. And imagining a silver glow radiating from this space. We're going to focus today on these upper two chakras, the third eye and the crown. These are the spaces that are said to be connected to the universe and connected to our intuitive wisdom. And during lockdown, we go through periods where we feel very isolated and very disconnected from the people around us. We need to remind ourselves that we are always connected through our thoughts and through our actions. Particularly in this time, by staying physically distant, we are better able to connect energetically. We worry if we're doing the right thing, if we're moving in the right direction. And remembering our third eye chakra is an opportunity for us to connect into our intuitive wisdom. We know right from wrong. We know what we need to do to benefit ourselves and society. And to just keep connecting back into the connection with the universe and intuitive wisdom, because these are not separate, they are the same thing. Slowly lowering your chin to your chest, blinking eyes open. You're going to shift now to come to sit on your shins. So bringing the legs behind you, sitting onto the shins. And then opening the knees, big toes touching. We're going to take 3 rounds of Simhasana. So this is the lion's breath. If your wrists are feeling very tight, you can have your fingers facing forward. If your wrists feel okay, I'd like you to try and turn them back to face towards you. Getting a little bit of stretch into the front of the wrists. I'm just going to gently rock the weight slightly forward and slightly back, just to start stretching out into the wrists. Doesn't have to be a deep active movement, just a soft one. And then in our Simhasana breath, in our lion's breath, we're going to activate into third eye chakra by turning the gaze inwardly and upwardly and drawing the eyes towards one another. So you're almost making yourself into a bit of a squint position. You're going to exhale the air out forcefully and stick your tongue out to try and touch your chin at the same time. Come to sit back on the heels. Bring your chin to your chest. Let's take a nice big inhale breath. And exhale. Inhale, chin down. One more. And coming back to the center. Come to sit back onto the shins now. You can draw the knees together. And then just roll the wrists a few times. Changing the direction of the wrist roll, breathing in to the full expanse of the lungs. And then inhale, coming into a tabletop, bringing hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, and moving through a few rounds of cat-cow pose. Inhaling to cow and exhaling to cat. Coming into a neutral position, walking the hands forward for melting heart pose. Either let your head drop between the shoulders or lower the forehead down to the mat. Keep the hands reaching forward, so they slide further forward, further forward. Breathe into the space between the shoulder blades. This is working deeply into the upper thoracic spine, opening up the chest, and also into the rotator cuffs of the shoulders. If you have space to melt your chest and chin down, you can go a little bit deeper. Inhale to lift yourself just a little bit, so bringing the forehead back to the mat if your chest and chin was down, or maybe walking slightly back if the forehead was down. Bringing your right arm under the chest, rotating your gaze to the right side, so we're in threaded needle. Reach the right fingers away from the body, and then you can choose to keep the left hand on the mat, or you can float your left hand up to the sky. If you'd like to bring the hand behind the back, that is available as well. Inhale, floating the arm back up, and then exhale to bring the hand down in front. Slide both arms forward, so you're back into your melting heart pose. Hold here for one round of breath. And then taking it to the other side. Left arm under. And then actively reach that left arm away, reaching the right arm forward. Floating the right arm to the sky if that's good. And maybe coming into the bind if that feels good. Keep lifting that top shoulder open. And then let's inhale, floating up. Exhale, forward. Both hands in front. And then start to walk your hands back as you slide down into child's pose. Bring the hands underneath the forehead to relax the shoulders. And press your forehead against your hands, connecting into that space. Let's lift from here into a downward facing dog. You can keep the knees bent to begin and just start to work out any tension in the lower body. So after melting heart, you should feel like the chest and upper back are fairly extended already, giving a little bit more space to now focus on the legs. Sink both heels firmly down towards the floor. Doesn't matter if they don't touch, just anchor them towards the floor. And then open the feet out nice and wide to the edges of the mat. See how you can lift your hips up and back, stretching into the lower back a little bit more. And then let's bring the feet to touch, heels and toes together. And notice how this shifts the energy into the hamstrings. Coming back into hip distance wide or regular alignment. And then walking towards the front of your mat. Hanging into ragdoll here. Bend the knees. Hold on to opposite elbows. Actively releasing the fascia of the back line with your exhale. Drop the hands down, bending the knees as you slowly roll up, pressing firmly into the heels and engaging the quads as you lift up. Unroll the body, standing into Tadasana at the front of the mat. Let's engage from heel to head, lifting into lower belly, trying to find the neutral spine. Opening up the chest without arching into the rib cage. On the inhale breath, floating arms up to the sky. Let's interlock the fingers, turning the palms to face up. Reach from head to heel, and then leaning over to the right hand side, gazing under the left arm. Inhale to center, over to the left hand side. Inhaling to center. Take the hands behind the back, interlocking fingers as you roll the shoulder blades together. Lift open through the heart, and then soften the knees to forward fold. Head, neck and shoulders becoming heavier and heavier, dripping towards the floor. Dropping the hands down to the mat and stepping your right leg back into lunge. On the inhale, breath stepping back into plank. Float the core up, press the hands firmly into the mat. Lowering knees, chest and chin and holding. Engage into the bandhas as you lift back into plank pose. Straighten arms, straighten legs. Let's lower knees, chest and chin for a second round. And then sliding forward onto the tummy, reaching the hands in front of you. Hook the thumbs as you lift up arms and chest. Keep your legs on the floor for this round. Point the toes, reaching head away from heels. Exhale to release down tucking toes and lifting back through plank into downward facing dog. In your down dog, connect the alignment from the crown of the head to the base of the tailbone. Imagine that energy channel running right through the center of the spine, and try to line up each of the points in between the head and the tail. Bend your knees if you need to in order to create that straight spine. On the inhale breath, take the right leg up to the sky, and then hugging the knee to the face, face to knee, as you lightly step the foot into lunge. Inhale together into flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reaching the arms all the way up. And then interlocking fingers at the top, turning the palms overhead. Let's inhale to the left. Push your hips a bit in the opposite direction. Inhale back to center, over to the right. And inhale back to center. Hands behind you, different finger on top. Roll the shoulder blades together as you open up through the heart. Inhale and exhale over soft knees. So soft knees can be straight or bent as long as they're not locking. Let's drop the hands down to the mat, stepping left leg back into lunge and followed by right. Holding into your plank. Lowering knees, chest and chin. Come straight back up into plank. Second round, lowering knees, chest and chin. And then releasing down to the tummy, hands in front, different thumb on top, lifting up arms, chest and legs. Exhale to release, tucking toes. Inhale, plank, and exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe into the space. So in all our inversions today, downward dog, forward folds, feel that energy moving into the crown of the head, into the space between the eyebrows. Let's inhale the left leg to the sky, and then hugging knee to face, face to knee, as you lightly step into lunge. On the inhale breath, floating forward into flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reaching the arms all the way up. Interlocking fingers, turning the palms overhead. On your inhale, coming up onto the tips of the toes. And then really stand as high as you can, evenly balancing from baby toe to big toe. Keep the heels behind the middle toe, slight external rotation of the inner thigh. Let's exhale, heels down as you forward fold. Inhale, floating halfway up and stepping the right leg into lunge. On the exhale breath, dropping your back knee down and inhale, lifting the arms up. Join your palms and then cross the thumbs over each other. Start to bend into the elbows and now press your head against your forearms. Focus this energy into the upper back. Roll the armpits wider. Inhale to lift the hands back up and exhale the hands together at the heart. On your inhale breath, you're going to open to the left, bringing right arm forward, left arm back. Inhale to the center, and then opening right arm back, left arm forward. Square the hips. Inhale to the center, exhale hands to the mat. Inhale, stepping into plank. And we're going to lower knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Hold. Inhale, back into plank. Straighten arms, straighten legs. Take it down for a second round, all the way to the floor. On your inhale breath, bring the hands next to the hips, and inhale, lifting up arms, chest, and legs. Exhale to release, tuck the toes, inhale, plank, and exhale, downward facing dog. Breathing deeply into the space. On the inhale breath, take the right leg up to the sky. Exhale, knee to face, face to knee, rounding the back. Inhale to lift. Exhale, knee to face, face to knee. Step your foot in between the hands. And now you're going to float your back leg up and fold. Step the feet together. Lift halfway, flat back. And exhale to forward fold. Inhale, arms all the way up. Interlocking fingers, turning palms to face up. Inhale, up onto the toes. On the inhale breath, stay on the toes, leaning over to one side. Back to the center. Over to the other side. Back to the center, and then heels down, hands behind the back. Open up through the heart. Exhale to forward fold. Legs getting a little bit straighter with each round. Drop your head, drop your arms, tilt the weight over the front of the feet. Release the hands down to the floor and stepping left leg back into lunge. Let's exhale, dropping the back knee down to the mat. Inhale, taking the hands overhead. Join your palms, cross the other thumb on top, and then start to bend into the elbows, pressing your head against your forearms. Inhale to straighten, bringing the hands to the heart on the exhale. Let's turn to the right hand side to begin. Left arm forward, right arm back. Inhale to center, turn to the left. Inhale, center. Hands down next to the foot. Lift the back knee up as you step back into plank. Find your core, find your legs, knees, chest, or chaturanga. Back up into plank. Second round, knees, chest, or chaturanga, all the way to the floor. Interlocking fingers behind the back. And then inhale, Shalambhasana. Release the hands, tuck the toes. Inhale, plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe here. Let's take the left leg to the sky. Exhale, knee to face, face to knee. Inhale to lift. Exhale, stepping the foot forward into lunge. And then inhale the back leg off the floor. Exhale to fold. Step the feet together, lifting into flat back. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, taking the hands all the way up. Interlock the fingers overhead, turn the palms to face up. Inhale up onto the toes. And then start to bend your knees. Only coming halfway down, lift the heels higher, squeeze into those thighs. Take us into a forward fold, heels down, hands down. Inhale, lifting halfway into flat back. On the exhale, step or hop yourself into down dog. And take a moment to breathe. On the inhale breath, let's take the right leg to the sky. Open up the hip to the ceiling. And then bending into that knee, standing scorpion. On the inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale the knee to the upper left arm. And then slide the foot out into fallen star. Taking left arm up to the sky. It's exhale to release the hand back down, hug your front knee into the face, and then step the foot in between the hands, lifting into warrior two. Checking the alignment of the feet. Slide the front knee down, open the back thigh a little bit wider. On the inhale breath, coming into reclining. And then pivoting forward into Pasva. Take the hand a little bit deeper if you'd like to. Maybe taking a half bind. Maybe taking a full bind. You're going to move into a triangle pose from here. So I'm going to work from bound to unbound variations. If you are bound, you start to straighten that front leg and you keep your chest opening up. If your hand is to the inside of the foot, you slide your hand to the shin, you straighten that leg and lift the top arm up. If your elbow is on your thigh, you do the same, lifting the top arm, bringing the hand to the shin. Breathe into any space that you find yourself and hold there. From here, you're going to bend the front knee, bring your hand to the inside of the foot and your top hand onto your hip. Let's reach that hand forward and then slide the back foot up into half moon balance. Ardha Chandrasana. Get lighter and lighter into the supporting hand, maybe float the top arm up to the sky. From here, we're going to square the hips as you bring your hands down to the mat. Square your hip, reach your heel back, reach your head forward. Stay on your fingers or bring your hands to your shin or bring your hands to your heart. If the hands are on the floor, leave them there. If the hands are at the heart, we're going to slowly start to pivot. Everyone bringing head to the floor and toes up to the sky. You can release your fingers down to the mat and coming into a nice deep standing split. Remember to reach the crown of your head to the earth. So that crown chakra reaching down. Feel the tension building up into your third eye as the blood rushes to the brain, so our awareness and energy does too. Let's inhale, lift halfway up. Bring your hands flat. If you need to bend your standing knee, that's absolutely fine. Your top leg stays up, and then you kick and float back, three-legged dog. Opening the hip to the side. Bending into that standing knee, lifting it nice and tall. Inhale to square. Exhale the knee to the upper right arm. And then slide the foot out, lifting the right hand up, fallen star. Inhale the hands together, on the floor again, and then lift your knee to the face, tiger curl. Step your foot forward, floating the arms up, warrior two. Sit nice and low into the hips, open the inner thighs. Let's inhale, reclining warrior. And then coming forward into Pasva, elbow to thigh, back arm over the ear. You can slowly come a little bit deeper into the pose. Don't go for the deepest variation straight away. Allow the body time to get there little bit by little bit. Moving into triangle, so you can do a bound triangle, or you can release one hand to the shin, one hand to the sky. From here, releasing the hands, one hand to the inside of the foot, one hand to the hip, and then you start to walk that finger forward, floating the back leg up. Ardha Chandrasana. The top leg is super strong. Put as much focus and energy into kicking your heel up and away as you can, but then also reach through the crown of the head in the opposite direction. Lifting the top arm up to the sky if the shoulder feels comfortable. And then just rotate both hands to the floor as you square the hips. Remember, you can bend your standing knee a little bit if that helps with the alignment. Maybe keep the hands down. Maybe bring the hands to the shins. Maybe bring the hands to the heart. And doing your best to get your chest and your leg even. From here, we're going to pivot forward into standing split. So fingers on the floor, all pivoting in a balance. Everyone releasing the hands down. Lift the toe, reach your head to the earth, and use that anchor, the connection from the crown to the earth, to help lift the top leg up. Flatten your hands. We're going to keep that top leg lifted. Don't bring the top leg down. And hop back, three-legged dog. Release the foot to the floor, drop the knees to the mat. And take a moment to rest in child's pose. On your inhale breath, come to sit up onto the shins. You're going to roll or fold your mat up if you find that your knees are a bit sensitive. And then kneeling onto the fold or the roll of your mat. Tuck the toes. Bring the knees underneath the hips so there is a gap about 5 or 4 fingers wide between the knees. And then squeeze the inner thighs towards each other, lifting into the glutes, lifting into the pubic bone to make sure that the lower back and pelvis are in a stable position. Moving into Utstrasana, camel pose. Hands onto the lower back for support. It's inhale, draw the elbows towards one another, and then slowly start to arch into the upper back. Squeeze your thighs, squeeze your glutes. You can look forward, look up, or drop the head. Find Ujjayi breath. It's quite challenging in this position. And then use the exhale and your tummy muscles to lift, and then come to sit. Let's take it into a second round. So lifting back up. Check that the knees are hip distance. Your toes for the second round can either be tucked or they can be flat. Flat is slightly more intense. Make sure that you work with how the body wants to be moved. Lift into the lower part of the spine and the pelvis. Squeeze the hips, squeeze the thighs. Let's inhale the elbows together as you gently lean back. If you feel comfortable to bring the hands maybe onto the glutes or even onto the thighs, you can do that. Focusing on opening the upper body. Make sure the lower back feels spacious. When we lift back up, hands onto the hips, lifting with a strong core and sitting back down into the heels. Just take a moment to breathe here. Camel pose is quite an intense posture, and I find when I've been going through stages of repetitive anxiety, when I do my camel pose, I get this almost like bilious feeling. So you might be feeling that as well with our constant stress levels at the moment. If it becomes too intense, obviously just sit it out and wait for it to go away. Otherwise, if it's just at a low grade level, think of it as a cleansing effect, trying to get rid of those emotions and negative feelings. Let's take one more. So for the last round, again, you can tuck or untuck the toes, whatever feels more comfortable for you. Remember, we're supporting into the sacrum, supporting into the SI joint with these hands. Lift opening, nice and tall. Create an arch over a giant beach ball. One of those big Pilates balls, imagine you're leaning over those. So you're lengthening. You can bring the hands down to the heels if that feels comfortable for you. If not, stay on the back. Really open up through the chest, open up through the heart. And then when you're ready to come back, chin forward, hands to hips, lift with the core, and then sitting back down to the heels. Let's take us into a child's pose now. So you can open the knees and then bring the hands down, either next to the hips or underneath the forehead. Connect your third eye space to the ground. And draw stability from the earth into our intuitive wisdom. And then from here, we're going to make your way into a downward facing dog, but keep the knees quite deeply bent as you lift up. so that the lower back has an extra opportunity to stretch out and release after our Sahasrara. And then slowly you can sink the heels down. Either walk hands to feet or feet to hands, whichever feels better for you. Bend your knees deeply and rolling up, one vertebrae at a time. On your inhale breath, you're going to stand into a nice strong Tadasana. Float the arms overhead. Keep your rib cage from popping. So don't bring the arms back and arch into the back. Create a neutral spine. Soften the rib cage down. And then lift the hands in line with the ears. Start to flex into the wrists. So you're turning the palms flat up to the sky. And so we're in an upside down handstand. Press your hands firmly into the floor, into the sky rather, into your imaginary floor, and feel how the shoulders are not only going to depress down, but the shoulder blades are actually going to open wider. Keep this neutral back, find that space, and then exhale to release down. So now we're going to flip that and start to work into some handstand preparation. Don't expect anyone to get into a handstand today, so don't worry. We're going to start working into that prep space. We do this in Tadasana first because that's the alignment that your handstand is. It's just in reverse. You press the hands into the floor, you press your feet into the sky, and you find that neutral space and that opening of the upper back. So we're going to take us now into some hops. So bringing the hands to the floor. You're not quite in a downward facing dog. It's not as wide as that. But you're going to keep your fingers nice and spread, and the hands are fairly wide. You're now going to tip your weight so that your shoulders are over your wrists. So we're not hopping from a down dog, but rather from the correct alignment for the upper body. You can step your feet in a little bit, taking one leg up to the sky, and now the top leg does not come down, so we're not switching the legs. You're going to bend your standing knee and then hop, hop, and hop. Try to land lightly and try to lift with control. So if you find that you're flicking so hard that you're worried about falling over, maybe ease back a little bit. Chances are you won't fall over backwards. It's actually quite hard to fall over backwards. You've got to kick with some real power to get all the way to fall over. So just play with this. You're going to feel how the heart rate lifts at the same time, so make sure that you're still breathing. Once you've done about 5 hops on the one leg, you'll switch over to the other. So again, make sure the shoulders are over the wrists, and then hop. One side is much harder than the other. And remember to push the hands into the mat. You can come down and rest in between. So you can either sit into your Vajrasana or come down into a child's pose for a few breaths. Make sure you relax your shoulders next to your thighs. Slow your heart rate down. Bring control back to the breath. And then coming to sit. We're going to do one more round of these hops, but this time we're going to do a mid-air switch. So instead of hopping with one leg and landing with the same leg, we're going to hop and switch the legs mid-air. So bring the shoulders over the wrists, take one leg up, and switch. And switch. Press firmly into the hands as you hop. Imagine that you're going to get your hips over your wrists. Keep playing with this. One leg up, other leg to lower. Flip, switch, flip, switch. If you have a wall near you, you can do this against a wall. Kick one foot to touch the wall before bringing the other leg up. So you can get heel against the wall before landing. Whew, it really does work the cardio. Let's do one more. And then come down into child's pose. Soften your body, soften your breath. Connect the forehead to the earth. Connect the skull to the earth. And then slowly rolling yourself back up to sit. You're going to swing the legs in front of you and come to lie down on your back. Let's take the knees into the chest. A little gentle roll from side to side. Moving into an eagle twist now, wrapping the right thigh around. Hook the toes behind the ankle if you can. Arms open to the side. Let's inhale and exhale, dropping to the left. Deep breath in and sigh the breath out. Inhale to the center, unwrap the legs, taking it to the other side. Inhale and exhale to drop. Inhaling to the center, unwrap the legs, hug the knees into the chest. And now you have three choices. You can either lie in restorative pose with the feet wide and the knees together, or into Supta Konasana with the feet together and the knees wide, or into Shavasana with the legs straight to the corners of the mat. So whatever feels best for you. I'm going to work into a very short meditation, just lying on your back, making sure that you feel supported and comfortable. Make whatever adjustments you need to feel that you can lie here for a few minutes. Eyes softly closed, bring your awareness internally. Feeling your breath. And you can let go of Ujjayi at this point and just come to a more natural, restorative breath. I'd like you to bring your mind's eye to the space around the tailbone. Visualizing a deep red orb of light shining from the tailbone. Moving your awareness now to the space around the belly button. And visualizing a bright orange light shining in this space. Bringing your awareness now to the solar plexus, just below the triangle of the ribcage. Visualizing a bright yellow light shining from this space. Bringing your awareness to your heart center. Visualizing a deep green light shining from the heart. Bringing your awareness now to the throat. Visualizing a bright blue light radiating from the throat. Bringing your awareness now to the third eye. Visualizing a bright purple light radiating from the space. Bringing your awareness now to the crown of your head and visualizing a silvery glow radiating from the crown of your head. Keeping your focus on the crown as you silently repeat to yourself, I am connected. Moving to the third eye as you silently repeat to yourself, I am intuitive and wise. Moving to your throat as you silently repeat, I live my truth. Coming to your heart as you silently repeat, I am compassion and love. Coming to your solar plexus as you silently repeat, I am brave and strong. Coming to your navel as you silently repeat, I am creative. And then to the base of the spine as you silently repeat, I am rooted and stable. Taking a deep breath in from base to crown. And sighing from crown to base. Shifting into Shavasana if you're not already there. Stay connected to these internalized sensations. In a place of calm and quiet and serenity. slowly start to deepen and lengthen your breath. Feeling your belly rise and fall. Gently running your thumb over each fingertip. Moving the toes, the ankles, and your wrists. Sliding your feet together and extending your arms overhead. Taking a deep, energizing stretch as you yawn or sigh. Bending your knees and rolling onto your right side or your left side into a fetal position. On your inhale, breath slowly lifting up to sit. Drawing hands together at the heart center in Anjali Mudra. We'll close the class by chanting Om once and Shanti 3 times. Taking a deep breath in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Raising your hands to your third eye. Taking a moment there just to feel that connection one last time. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Lowering your hands to your lips, to your heart, to your mat. Bowing forward in recognition of your practice. Blinking eyes open, inhaling to lift. Namaste.